or at least being dominative. So the question here is, do you recognize bullying when you see it? We're still having this discussion with Dr. Florence Itegi, lecturer from K24 University, who has also done extensive research as far as this particular topic is concerned, even has a policy paper out. Dr. Frida Kameti also joins us today. She is from Africa Mental Health Research and Training Foundation. And so even as we discuss about the correlation between bullying and mental health, let's take a look at what you have to say on this topic through, of course, our WhatsApp line. And we want to encourage you to continue sharing your experiences with us and even tell us how you go about handling such a situation, if at all you are raising someone. Well, let's take a look at this text message that has come in. I don't believe you have left your name, but you say, hey, K24 this morning, bullying is always an emotional topic for me. In high school, I was forced into doing unspeakable things. I had to transfer schools. The teachers sided with the bullies just because they were older and more credible. The healing process was not easy, and to date, I don't know how to take orders or commands. Well, we'll definitely keep your number, and hopefully we can actually even pass it on to Dr. Frida. Let's see if you guys can have a conversation on the side, because that is what she specializes in. Mwalimu Dismas Keter from Tinderet, Nandi County says, bullying was real back in the days. I remember some of the Form 4s asking me to buy them mandazis so as to safeguard me from the harassment of other students. So you literally bought your protection throughout high school. That must have been a lot of mandazis, Mr. Dismas. Okay, let's keep those text messages coming. And of course, we also want to hear from you via our phone lines. Why don't you call in and weigh in on our ongoing discussion on bullying? One question that actually did come in, Dr. Frida, and I realized perhaps I should have covered this in the beginning. Maybe the reason even why so many of us don't really have an answer to this question is because we were probably the ones on the other side. And that begs the question, do you even know what bullying is? Can you recognize it? How do I know if I'm being bullied, by the way?
So, and you're right. Yeah. I think Dr. had mentioned earlier, there's usually a power imbalance. Yeah. And that's usually, it's almost like an ingredient when it comes to bullying. There's always a power imbalance. There's the person who feels they have more power than the victim. So how do you recognize you're being bullied? We all have a sense of right and wrong from how we're raised. Yeah. And we also have values depending on where we're raised and who raises us. Yeah. And so when those values are compromised, we always have that bell ringing in our heads that something is not right, right? And we also have social norms where we know, for instance, bullying is actually just violent, aggressive behavior, unwanted behavior that obviously constitutes a power imbalance. Yeah. So with that said, how do I know then I'm being bullied? Sometimes it can go from feeling like I'm being taken advantage of. Right. For instance, Mwalimu Dismas says he had to buy his freedom, his protection in school, because maybe he was in an environment where he felt, until I do ABCD, I will never be safe. Right. So the minute you feel your safety is compromised, then there's a chance that there's a power imbalance somewhere. Right. And there's a chance that there's bullying happening.
Whether you're in the workplace, whether you're in school, the minute you feel that imbalance, then you will understand. Yes. You just have that feeling, you'll know it.
Yes, you'll know it. And sometimes you might not know it. Because what if I come from an environment where bullying has been normalized? Yeah. Then I'm never really going to recognize that bullying is happening. Right. And that's the thing about bullies. Yeah. They don't actually realize that they're doing the bullying because for them that's really normal. Yes, and so you have to understand, and that's why we have to have conversations. Yeah. And it will be interesting to see the policy that Dr. worked on because how are we teaching the schools? How are we teaching the teachers? How are we teaching the children to recognize what bullying is and when it's happening, and how are we even creating a positive learning environment for our kids if we don't even understand what bullying is.
Oh, my director Albert is paying attention. Sometimes some of us don't understand when we're being bullied. Albert. He's the one who does the bullying, by the way. It's not the other way around.
Like I said, sometimes it can be very subtle.
It can be very subtle.
Yeah.
He has very subtle ways. Huh? But you know, she's raised up a very good point, Dr. Flo.
Yeah.
When it comes to, you know, the way the structures are set up in school, even from your findings, is there anything on the ground that you came across that in some way is helping students recognize and be able to report that bullying in our school system?
Yes, and Chico, I'll just first of all weigh on what she has said. You know, what is this we call bullying?
Yeah.
I think everyone needs to understand that, from our children to the teachers and even to parents.
Yeah.
It can be verbal. When somebody uses, you know, that word, and even sometimes we nickname people, it can be physical.
Yes.
There are those who will hit and kick and the like.
Yeah.
It can still be psychological, because if I know this is what annoys Daktari, and I keep repeating it, and I keep repeating it again and again, that is already bullying.
Right.
So we don't say it's bullying until there is, you know, the physical fight.
Yeah.
Bullying can take many other forms. However, on what you have just asked me about the structures in our schools, I realized that schools need to come up with rules that address bullying directly.
Right.
Because when teachers start talking about it, the children know it is not affirmed.
Yeah.
And therefore, it becomes everybody's business.
Yeah.
Because why it has thrived, it is because children were left on their own to fight it.
Yeah.
They are the same perpetrators.
Yeah.
And now the victims are suffering in there. But when we make it a school policy, and it is open, and it is discussed, and still parents are involved in it, there has to be that collaborative approach.
Right. It can't just be you're coming to school only to check on grades. Attend these kind of things and have these discussions. Right.
This helps also schools to sensitize parents on when do you realize that your child is being bullied.
Right.
And there are some of the symptoms. If your child was not bedwetting, and all of a sudden they are bedwetting. If your child was open, and all of a sudden he or she has withdrawn, you need to be worried what is happening in their lives. Because it could be they have started suffering and they find nobody cares.
Right.
Therefore, they are suffering in silence.
Wow.
So we need to come up with those structures, and actually it was one of my recommendations that we need a collaborative approach to this problem. We fight it at school, we fight it at home, and children now learn that it's not just our own problem. It is all of us who are looking at it.
It's a community.
And this helps, you know, the victims can now speak, while the bullies can now sit back. Because there is attack from all sides.
Yeah, in fact, even just to add on to that point, I came across also another policy document by one Joseph Kahunga, who wrote this for Kenyatta University Institutional Repository on bullying in schools, and indicated that the Ministry of Education should staff development training in prevention of bullying, and counseling services should be put and as an essential part for schools. So let it be a program.
Yes.
Let it be a program on its own.
It should start even from the teacher training aspect. That they are empowered to discover when bullying is taking place and what they can do to help. And that now will demystify the problem.
Here's an interesting one for you, Dr. Frida. Bullying in marriage. Let's talk about that. When you've got a married couple, and like you said, there's an issue, there's a power play thing going on here. It's a red flag. There's probably someone who's watching and probably doesn't realize that their partner perhaps is bullying them. So let's dissect that, because perhaps in marriage people didn't even know. The same way some people find it hard to believe that there's rape in marriage, there's also bullying in marriage.
So you're very right in the sense that bullying does happen in marriages, quite actually a bit, and we tend to talk more of the intimate partner violence. We don't really look at how does this actually start, and it starts it starts very subtle.
Yeah.
Maybe I have concerns about something, and I discuss them with my partner, if that's even allowed to start with.
Yeah.
I discuss with my partner, and my partner dismisses it. Might dismiss it by saying, not validating my concerns, or might dismiss it by saying I'm overreacting about them, or might totally just ignore me, or might actually be very passive and listen and not really do anything about it. So bullying happens in marriages all the time, and it can come in very different forms. In the sense, maybe I don't have that sort of power out there, but in this house, I actually assert the power that I need to feel like I'm heard. I have power. And so where do I bring it? I bring it in the house. Not realizing that I might be bringing the sort of power that's unhealthy, right? Because what sort of power am I trying to show my family or my spouse? Like she said, it can be, this bullying can take very different forms. Physical, psychological, emotional. Now, when it comes to marriages, there's the aspect of financial bullying. You know, we need money for food. Well, you also have a job. Why don't you buy money? Why don't you buy food?
So the sarcasm starts kicking in.
Exactly. Right. And so when it comes to the different forms of bullying, like you said, people don't even realize that rapes do happen in marriages. If my spouse, you know, if my spouse wants to be intimate with me, and for whatever reason, I say no, no should be adequate, right? But no, I'm your spouse. There are things that I need from you, and I don't care what's happening with you. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. That is bullying. That is actually abuse. So it does happen in marriages. People are afraid to talk about it. Why? In my line of work, I see it where couples come and say, well, my dad did it. My mom did it. So my mom sat through it. You know, so what's the big deal? Well, the fact that you're sitting in my office, obviously it's a big deal for you. Otherwise, that's why you come to sit in my office to talk about it. And the fact that now it translates into the children. Because when there is a cold war going on between us, right? Because don't forget, it doesn't have to be verbal. So if there is a cold war going on between us, the kids are going to realize. I hear all the time, but they're kids, Dr. Harry. What do they? Kids have, their brains are like sponges. They absorb everything, and they observe everything. All
right, Bona Director, any feedback so far? Yes, no, before we... so as he continues to work on that behind the scenes, Dr. Itegi, one of the things that we should probably try to encourage, obviously, is the telling part. And even as we come to the tail end of our discussion, how do we go about speaking about it, talking about it? Maybe you can advise, even from the school perspective, how you're able to even engage students and get them to open up. Maybe I have someone who I need to help. Likewise, even when it comes to marriage and other areas, perhaps the workplace, you can handle that. But before the two of you talk or speak about that, let's take a look at what's up. Quite a number of text messages of people just pouring out their experiences as far as bullying is concerned. Good morning. My name is Naz from Mombasa. Good morning. I was bullied and often picked on by the Form 3s and 4s. The school management said it's time to be bullied, and when my time came, I will do it to my juniors. What is this? But one day I lost my temper and I injured a Form 4 student who was bullying me. The school had to cover it up because it's like I made it impossible for other juniors to do the same to bullies. When I became a senior, I just couldn't bully my juniors. They looked inferior and innocent, and I felt the urge to protect them. Wow. Good morning. Thanks. Such an amazing topic this morning. There is also bullying at the family level. As a last-born, the older siblings have never allowed me to outdo them in anything. They have always sabotaged and projects I have initiated. So bullying goes beyond school boundaries, and that is Agri Rajor from Nairobi. Very, very good point there. All right, last text here that we can actually take a look at. Good morning, I'm a victim of bullying at Form 1. I really suffered a lot from the officials, which our institution never understood my cry. Our DP would even do it perfectly. And this has really affected me even to present myself on how to stand my life or stand up for my choices in life. I fear presenting my applications to secure a job after graduating because even gatemen exercised the same on me on 1 or 2 occasions when I went to send out my application. And the person goes on to say, Daktari, please help me. I believe that's for you, Dr. Frida. So you can really see the effects of all of this. One thing that even Agri brought out is that even within the family setting, people bully you, and you've just grown up knowing, okay, that's just the way things are. I'm a last born, so the firstborn gets priority, but you don't understand the psychological effect of it, even to the point whereby you start to, you know, or rather it creates this wedge between you and your parents because you feel the firstborn is always favored. Okay, do you want to handle that as well as how you can go about reporting bullying once you recognize it?
So, as you can see, these are people who are, they're done with high school. And they're still talking about bullying and the effects. And the effects of bullying go past high school, past middle school. When I hear someone like Agri talking about the experiences that he had, that even now as an adult he has difficulties, even putting in job applications because he still feels intimidated. You know, Dr. was talking about symptoms of bullying, and some of them is like post-traumatic stress disorder. And post-traumatic stress disorder is characterized by reliving those traumatic experiences. I can bet that some of these guys are talking about every time, like maybe when he sees the gateman, to him, he's reliving those high school experiences of being bullied over and over again. And it can go from, you know, poor sleep, poor appetite, thoughts of suicide, chronic depression, which impact an individual and how they function as an adult. So I think the one thing that we need to do, and like you're talking even in the workplace, we've got to have zero tolerance. We've got to have policies. I mean, we have policies for everything else. Why not have policies for bullying? And how about we have a forum where employees can actually feel like they can report, like anonymous reporting. You know, there's a line to call. You don't have to state your name. Maybe there's an email where you can actually email your concerns anonymously. So there are actually ways where we can actually have policies and regulations to protect people.
All right. Note to HR and all HODs watching, perhaps that's something they could implement in the workplace. Very quickly, so that we can wind up, Dr. Itegi, how we can go about helping our children report these things, because you work almost every day with students.
I think channels of communication need to be opened where they can communicate not only one way but in several ways, like having even suggestion boxes. So it doesn't matter who reported, but something is written and dropped in the suggestion box. Even opening, now we are in the technology era, calls, where there is a call center where somebody can just call and inform. And we have also to set up units. And these units have to address, you know, like a call center where they address bullying. So I think that would work. But again, we are saying that the children also have to learn tactics where they can talk of having friends and assertive friends. Are they protective people? So that you don't, you don't stay isolated. You don't walk alone. And there you'll be having people to share with.
Well, thank you so much, and even for your extensive work on the issue of bullying. A very amazing piece that I managed to read. Good job, Dr. Florence Itegi there, lecturer from the Kenyatta University, and also Dr. Frida Kameti Asantisana from the Africa Mental Health Research and Training Foundation. If at all you do require those contacts, we are available to send them out to you. So it's not a problem. Why don't you leave us your details, and we'll be sure to even pass them on to Dr. Frida so that she can follow up. Gentlemen, huge correlation between bullying and mental health that you've seen on the show today, and people are living with these effects.
Actually, I was surprised to see there's one of the guys on WhatsApp who said that they were bullied while in high school, and now they have transferred that bullying to their spouse.
Yes.
So you can, as you can see, people are battling with this situation.
I know the thing is because it got to a point, especially us, we've normalized it, and you're like, yeah, you go to Form 1, lazima uhandwe.
Yes.
You know, it's a write-off. If that doesn't happen, you did your secondary school wrong. But it's not normal. It's not supposed to be like that.
And I think very soon we're going to have that discussion, especially about the welfare of students in school and rites of passage in school. That could be a topic on its own. It definitely needs to be dissected.
But you know, like I was bullied, a good one, when I was at Nairobi school. And of course, once in a while, I would, you know, pull someone's ears. But after that, you know, unatoka hapo tu side.
No. Let us tell you, Mbuvi, how you turned out. You don't know. Let other people tell you.
Yes, there's a guy who talked about how many mandazis he had to buy.
It was crazy. It was
and then he was dealing with Travo, our cameraman.
Mkate Saba.
You know, it was all fun and games until you're fresh in Form 1. It's your first night. You've gone in, and then the Form 4 tells you, take this bucket, go out, fetch darkness, bring it back in this bucket. Yes, some of the things
only
that
mango.
Only mango, my friend.
All right, we've come to the end of the show, of course, and we love the fact that you joined us the entire time.
Yes.
Thank you as well, because tomorrow we know for sure you'll be with us.
Okay, fantastic stuff. We are done. The Daily Brief is up next from 9 up until 12:30. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.